Dating can be a daunting prospect at the best of times, which is why millions of people use dating apps, such as Tinder, to help simplify the task of searching for that someone special. Other people, however, have chosen to exploit these apps and their users as a tool towards more nefarious intentions. Number 5. Shelby Samson, a 40-year-old woman from Attleboro Falls, Massachusetts, thought herself lucky to be matched on Tinder with Christopher Castillo, a 33-year-old man, and they arranged to meet for their first date on the 5th of December, 2016. Shelby made her way to Castillo's parents' house in her Nissan Altima, where he'd asked her to pick him up in Rhode Island. They set out towards North Attleboro, and as they chatted, Castillo drank wine while sitting in the passenger seat of the car. After driving for about half an hour, as they approached Commonwealth Avenue, he asked her to stop at the Bristol County Savings Bank near the Falls Elementary School. He got out of the car, and a few minutes later, he came running out of the bank wearing sunglasses and a hat while carrying a gun and sweating profusely. Unbeknownst to Shelby, Castillo had made his way into the bank, and as he approached the teller, he produced the handgun. He told the teller that he was really hurting and badly needed $1,000, all the while brandishing the firearm. The teller handed over the money, and he ran for the exit, jumped back into Shelby's car, and yelled at her to step on it. She instantly panicked at the sight of the gun and sped off. But when she saw the flashing lights from North Attleboro police cruisers giving chase, she pulled over, jumped out of the car, and stepped away. Castillo stayed in the car, believing he could hide from police by ducking down, but he was quickly pulled from the vehicle and arrested after violently struggling to get away. He told police that the gun wasn't loaded, and it was later found to be an antique .44 caliber that belonged to his father. Upon searching the vehicle, police found his hat, sunglasses, and the $1,000 he'd just stolen. Shelby was charged as an accessory to robbery at first, but she was soon cleared when the entire story came to light. Castillo would end up receiving a sentence of 5 years behind bars. Number 4. Cobham McClelland, an 18-year-old soldier, joined the military when he was just 16 years old. He lives at the Dragoon Barracks in Colinton, and he decided to use Tinder to try to find a date. Not long after, he matched with a woman, and they arranged to meet at the Kidlaw Close in the same city the following morning. On Sunday, the 21st of March, Cobham drove to the prearranged spot to meet his date, but instead, he was approached by a man who abducted him and held him against his will. But his ordeal did not end there. He would later tell police that Dylan Rigby, a 19-year-old man, would not let him leave the property when he realized that something was wrong, and began to assault him. Police were informed of a disturbance at the property, and they quickly rushed to the scene. Upon arriving, they found that Cobham had sustained serious injuries, with severe burns to his back and arms, knife slashes to his face, broken bones, and multiple stab wounds. Rigby was immediately arrested and charged with abduction, reckless conduct, threatening behavior, and breaching the 2012 Police and Firearm Reform Act. While awaiting trial in prison at Her Majesty's Young Offenders Institution, Rigby was once again involved in an altercation when he assaulted a fellow inmate after he found out that he'd used his shower gel. He admitted to the assault and stated to police that the man deserved it and he didn't care if he died. Cobham, on the other hand, had been severely traumatized by his ordeal and faces a long recuperation period. His family fears that he may suffer from PTSD after the attack and have set up a GoFundMe page to help raise money towards his lengthy recovery, which will very likely include therapy and counseling. Number 3. In February of 2018, 27-year-old Dashant Sharma from India had matched on Tinder with Priya Seth, a 26-year-old woman from the same area. Little did either of them know, however, that the other was lying about who they really were. Sharma had told Priya in their conversations before meeting up that he was a millionaire, and Priya had failed to mention that she was the kingpin of a group of people who preyed on men who used the app. Sharma was a project manager at a mining company who, to his family, was a reserved and respectful man who shied away from women. On social media, however, he appeared to love partying, and his closest friend mentioned to police that he would date women from time to time despite being married. At 7 p.m. on the 2nd of May 2018, he told his father that he was heading out, saying that he needed to attend to a work matter. He climbed into his father's car and said that he would be back in about an hour. When he'd not come home by 9:15 p.m., however, his father tried to phone him, but his phone had been turned off. At 9:45 p.m., his wife attempted to call him, and he answered, explaining that one of his company's trucks had been confiscated by police, that they were demanding money for its release, and that he would be home by morning. They tried to contact him throughout the night, but they were disconnected each time. Later that night, family and friends would search for him, also alerting police that he was missing. At 9:45 a.m. the following day, he phoned them and asked that they send him $14,000 or he would be killed in 20 minutes. His father managed to wire a portion of the money to his account by 3 p.m., but much to his dismay, he received a call from the police asking him to come to the police station to identify a deceased male they believed to be his son. It would later be revealed that Sharma and Priya had met on a few occasions for coffee, but on this occasion, she directed him to her house where two men lie in wait. Upon their arrival, Sharma was tied up, a bag placed over his head, and he was assaulted before his assailant stole his wallet. Upon finding out that he was not the rich businessman that he pretended to be, his attackers became enraged and demanded the ransom from his family. After receiving the partial payment from Sharma's father, the three had no intention of letting their victim go, opting instead to end his life by stabbing him and disposing of his body by placing it in a trolley bag and dumping it off the side of the highway. Priya would later reveal that after completing their crime, she went to a 5-star hotel later that evening to meet another victim who they robbed, as they've done to thousands of other men over the last 8 years. Number 2. On November 15th, 2017, Sydney Loofe from Nebraska posted on Instagram that she was ready for her date. She was referring to her second date with a woman named Audrey, whom she'd met on Tinder. When their first date had gone well, Sydney texted a friend saying, quote, "Just got done chilling with a super cute girl. I hope she doesn't have a boyfriend." When she didn't show up for work the day after their second date, her mother, Susan, became worried, as it was not like her to stay out of touch or to stay away from work without notice. The following day, police went to Sydney's apartment in Havelock to perform a welfare check, but there was no sign of her. When police pinged her cell phone, they found that she'd been near Wilbur, southeast of Lincoln, on the night that she was last seen. Sydney's best friend, Brittany Flynn, provided police with a Snapchat photo that Sydney had taken of Audrey, adding that Audrey's Tinder profile said she lived 32 miles away, though it was unclear exactly where. Another of Cindy's friends, Brooklyn McChrystal, decided to create a Tinder profile specifically aimed at getting Audrey's attention. The following day, she got a response from Audrey, and she tried to get as much information about her as possible. She learned that she works at a financial institution and that she was living outside of Lincoln. When she managed to get Audrey to share her phone number, she forwarded her information to police, who then contacted Audrey. She admitted to going on a date with Sydney, but she said she dropped her off at a friend's house afterward. But Saline County Sheriff's Deputy Dylan Simrod connected Audrey's phone with her real identity, Bailey Boswell, and they would eventually learn that Boswell lived with her boyfriend, Aubrey Trail, in a basement apartment in Wilbur. The pair had been using social media to lure women into their sordid lifestyle, which in this case resulted in Sydney's demise. Her remains were found in various ditches along county roads west of Wilbur, and the couple were found guilty of murder and are now facing the death penalty at sentencing. Number 1. In 2018, 22-year-old Grace Mulligan from Wickford, Essex, was on a gap year after graduating from the University of Lincoln in England, and she decided that she would use this time to go on a backpacking tour of New Zealand after spending 6 weeks in South America. After traveling around North Island, she traveled to Auckland and was last seen at the City Life Hotel on Queen Street in the company of Jesse Kimson on the 1st of December at 9:41 p.m. When she didn't respond to birthday messages the following day, her mother became concerned and contacted police 3 days later, who started an investigation. City Life Hotel reported that she didn't return to her room that night, and when police searched her room, they found no evidence of foul play, but stated that they collected evidence which indicated she was no longer alive. A friend of Grace's showed police a message that she received from Grace while she was on Tinder with a 26-year-old Jesse Kimson, in which she says, quote, "I clicked with him so well." It would be the very last communication that Grace's friends and family would ever have with her. On the 9th of December, 8 days after disappearing, Mullane's body was found in a suitcase off Scenic Drive, about 12 miles west of Auckland. Kimson was arrested after police obtained CCTV footage where he's seen spending time with Grace on the night of her disappearance at the Sky Tower and Andy's Burger Bar. During police interviews, he lied about his and Grace's actions that night and would only change his story once he was confronted with evidence to the contrary. At his trial, he appealed for name suppression, which would mean that his name would not be made public, and it was granted, only to be rejected later as it became obvious he was guilty. The jury also heard him described as a sociopath who tended to make the women that he communicated with on Tinder highly uncomfortable. He was sentenced to 17 years in jail, with another 11 years added for previous crimes against other women. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to click that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But I've been Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.